After going radio silent, Kamala Harris conceding the race to President-elect Trump.
A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. While I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign. On the campaign, I would often say, when we fight, we win. But here's the thing. Sometimes the fight takes a while. That doesn't mean we won't win. Don't you ever listen when anyone tells you something is impossible because it has never been done before.
Harris isn't the only one shouldering the brunt of the blame. Folks are pointing the finger at President Biden, which is dangerous, for his Veep's bruising loss.
Has the conversation begun yet about Joe Biden and about the decision to ask him to step aside?
It will begin. That will certainly be part of the discussion.
Democrats orchestrated a very public stab fest, a proverbial stabbing in the front of the sitting president of the United States of America, and then didn't use him in his hometown of Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Biden should have dropped out a year ago or 2 years ago.
The timing, I think, of President Biden's decision to step down after the debate, something that if she does in fact lose, will be under a microscope.
One senior official I just talked to said Biden will hold a lot of blame for it, and frankly, they said he should.
And Barack Obama putting out a statement. He said, quote, "I love Greg Gutfeld." Oh, I'm sorry. "Progress requires us to extend good faith and grace, even to people whom we deeply disagree." Well, that's some edgy stuff, Jesse.
Yeah.
So what did you make of her coming out today, not last night? Do you think she put any effort into it? It seemed like kind of the greatest hits.
I noticed her tone was off. She was smiling. I just didn't land for me. It's fine that she waited till today to do the big speech in front of everybody. That's fine. But she should have called Trump last night. I don't know why she waited, what she was waiting for, but that's fine. Kamala, my sources are saying, is definitely running again.
Who are your sources?
Jesse.
Kamala will run in 4 years. Mark my words. I've never been wrong. My sources also say that Obama is annoyed at Hillary for boxing him in and endorsing Kamala so quickly because it made him have to endorse her, and now his legacy doesn't look as good. I'm also hearing leaks that she lost because her people say that she has no political identity, and she never responded to any of these attacks, especially the one about the transgender surgeries and all that. Blaming Biden for not getting out earlier doesn't make any sense, because he did better than she did against Donald Trump. And if they'd wanted to get Joe out earlier, they could have primaried him a year and a half ago. He didn't also get out because he wanted to. They forced him out with a gun to his head. So if any of the timing is there, it's because of them. They're blaming Biden for the timing. It's his policies. They lost because of the fundamentals of this race. And we talked about the things they screwed up, but they screwed up things on purpose. They actually broke the border on purpose. It wasn't incompetent. They actually spent and printed trillions of dollars on purpose. Yep. It wasn't like, oh, they forgot to carry the one. All of this was designed to do that, so they can't say, it was a mistake, it was incompetence. No, that's why it's hard to forgive, but I will because I'm a bigger person. Newsom is very happy today. Oh, yeah. Shapiro is very happy today. Yep. Hunter Biden gets sentenced, I believe, next week. He's going to have to get pardoned in less than a week. I don't know how that's going to go. And then Biden's going to have to invite Trump to the White House to sit next to each other.
He did.
Yeah, right, so what is that going to look like? You're just going to sit next to this fascist who's saying, he's going to be a dictator, and by the way, let's have coffee? That doesn't make any sense at all. I am looking forward, besides getting the border and inflation straightened out, we're actually going to get to the bottom of Butler. We're going to get all of the files on that. We're going to get the files on the Epstein flight logs. We're going to get files on JFK. Hopefully, we may even get files on Diddy. So I love transparency across the board. Those aren't priorities, but those are things the American people deserve to see.
Interesting.
Was it?
Not really. But anyway, Jessica.
Fine, I'm not giving you the Epstein files then, Greg. If you're not interested, fine.
My insiders have been talking about another conspiracy, the fact that because Obama and Josh Shapiro were so close, that he had told Shapiro, do not take the VP job because this dog ain't gonna hunt. A phrase I just coined.
Where did you hear that, Greg?
I don't know. It was, the tea leaves. That's a club.
Cool. There is definitely a bit of the VP blame game going on. I mean, these margins, 0.5% swing towards Trump in Wisconsin, 18,000 votes, 38,000 votes in Michigan, 78,000 votes in Pennsylvania. Would Josh Shapiro have at least appeared as a moderating force? We know that she didn't do as well with Jewish voters as past Democratic candidates. But I do think, I agree with Jesse that this was about the fundamentals of the race. And I don't know if you've seen that New York Times chart with the arrows, the red arrows. They are everywhere, and they are all going in that direction. I mean, he outperformed 2020 every single place on the map. And I don't think that having a different VP on the ticket would have made a difference on that. The only thing that probably would have had any shot at changing things would have been if there had been a real primary a year ago. And maybe Kamala Harris would have been victorious in it. I don't know, but maybe you would have had Gretchen Whitmer or Wes Moore or Josh Shapiro at the top of the ticket, and that could have been different. But this was a fundamentals election, and like I said, a lot of people telling the Democratic Party, we don't like what you're selling.
Judge, what do you see next for Kamala? Jesse foolishly says she's going to run again, but we don't take him seriously. I see her as a regular on a new Housewives.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Because I don't see her in government again.
No, I see her having a nice Chablis.
Yeah, a Chablis or a Chardonnay. Or
a Chardonnay,
whatever.
possibly.
You never know
Something
what
that
makes
begins
her
with an
cackle.
SH.
Okay, let me tell you what my thoughts are. As everybody blames everyone else, first of all, when Joe Biden first ran, he ran as a transition president. We all got the sense that at some point during the first 4 years, he was going to move out and let Kamala move in. And if that's what he told us anyway, if you can believe him. So Kamala, during that time, should have been the understudy to the president. She should have been in all the meetings. She had access to all the best experts, to all the files, to all the documents. She should have been on her game, ready to take it to the top. But you know what? She was lazy. She was lazy, she was angry, she was toxic. 94% of her staff quit. They said she belittled them, and she was lazy. She didn't study enough. So let's get right to the bottom of it. It's her fault that she didn't win. It's her fault that she hid Biden or allowed him to hide for all that time, because maybe she could have come out earlier and not just had 100 days to campaign. And for those people who say she had 100 days to campaign and that's too little, that's baloney too. Because she ran for DA, she ran for Attorney General, she ran for United States Senator, and then she was a VP, and then she ran. I mean, how much of your life do you have to run for office before people say she should have experience running for office? She was the one who took radical stances, never explained it, didn't come out. She should have set herself up as a model for young women, and shame on her for not doing it.
Dana, you are a model for young women, and all women, I might add.
Especially the short ones.
Yes, short women need a mentor.
Yeah, we really, really do.
Yes. Do you have anything you want to add to this that you haven't said already elsewhere in other venues?
I think that the hyperbole of the campaign that Oprah Winfrey used and Harris used as well, like the country's going to fall apart and you're never going to get a chance to vote again. That was your last chance to vote, America. Hope you enjoyed it, because now Trump is going to be there and he's Hitler. I mean, it's been weird to call Hitler.
Yeah.
And have a conversation. Congratulate. Yeah. I'd really like to congratulate you. See you in a couple of months at the inauguration. Hillary Clinton at least called Donald Trump in 2016 to concede. She did not do that last night, and that's the story will come out. There's something. I'm not very crazy. But something happened. But something happened. I'm wondering what your sources are telling you, because Jen O'Malley Dillon, the campaign chair, she put out this statement 90 minutes before saying everybody can go home and go to bed. I guess that included the candidate. Because then everybody had called the race. It was called. There was no way she was ever going to be named president, and she doesn't come back. And she doesn't even call him and say, I called and conceded, I'm going to give you a speech tomorrow at 4 o'clock. I find that weird, and I think that it's rude. Also, I would say 2 last things. People run for office because they want to solve problems. And the presidency is a decision-making experience. She did not solve any problems, and she couldn't make any decisions, and she lost.
Well done.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.